With every year that goes by, more of our lives are shifted into the digital world of zeros and ones. With this change, more and more companies begin to make money off of your data. I've made it my goal to use more privacy-focused software without degrading my online experience. Today, I'm going to share with you what the best of the best have been. Let's go ahead and get right into it with everyone's most used piece of software, the web browser. The bar to reach for me here is Google Chrome. While it does siphon a lot of your data, it is a very nice to use web browser. Our first honorable mention is Microsoft Edge. While Edge was the default joke of browsers for many years, with its recent switch to Chromium, it has some compelling features. Microsoft Edge is a very close experience to stock Google Chrome. While it tries to push Microsoft software, it also doesn't force it on you. This is why Edge takes a little extra setup, but once it's done, you have a very clean, very private browser that's not going to siphon very much of your information while giving you a close to stock Google Chrome feel. Edge does have the very obvious downside of being owned by Microsoft, and as we know, Microsoft is not the most privacy focused with platforms like Windows 10. However, if you want to give Microsoft a try, this browser is pretty decent, and I can honestly recommend it if you tune its privacy settings to your desired levels. Next up, we have the classic Chromium alternative. If you want a browser that has nothing to do with Google, then Firefox is probably the browser for you. While it can be a bit jarring to switch from a Chromium-based browser, Firefox does have a massive feature set and has most of the extensions you would get in Chrome. Firefox has been trying to push more privacy-focused features, however a lot of them feel like catch-up with other privacy-focused browsers. Firefox also has two glaring issues for me that keep me from full-time using it. The first of which is a higher frequency of bugs than any other browser I've ever used. For example, when using a 1440p monitor as my second one, when I full screen video, I'll get a small white border around the full screen video, and this is a huge problem since it makes it very annoying to watch. The second problem for me is their pro-censorship stance and their political involvement as a whole. I personally don't want my web browser spending money on a political agenda, however, if you feel differently from this, that is completely fine. Firefox remains as one of the very few Chromium alternatives, so if this is what you're looking for, then Firefox is your answer. Last but not least, we have the winner and my recommendation, which is the Brave browser. If you want the feel of Google Chrome while having privacy features stronger than any other browser, then Brave is for you. Featuring built-in ad block and tracking protection even on the mobile platform, this browser is extremely impressive. This browser has actually managed to keep me away from Chrome for an entire year and feel no qualms about it, which is exactly what I want out of a Chromium alternative. The one big con of this browser that you can feel pretty quick is that it's made by a smaller company with less resources, so bugs and problems that pop up will take a while to fix. However, I've experienced almost no bugs personally out of an entire year of full use, and I can full-heartedly say again, if you want the Chrome experience with insane privacy features, this browser is going to be for you. Next up, we've got the wacky world of search engines. These ones were not as straightforward as browsers for me. While there's multiple browsers I could recommend, alternative search engines are not for everyone. Let me explain why with our first one, DuckDuckGo. While DuckDuckGo is privacy focused and does an excellent job on searching for general topics or things like recipes or very basic things, I ran into a lot of problems when searching specifics on it. In my field of work, I do a lot of searching for code online, and DuckDuckGo struggles extremely hard in this area when I compare it to Google. Even if I have DuckDuckGo set as my default, it still just doesn't quite get the job done, and I find myself going back to Google search every once in a while. Before I give more of my thoughts on search engines, let's go ahead and get into the second alternative that I've tried. This would be the Brave Search Beta. Brave went ahead and bought out a small search engine and decided to put some money into it and try and make it a legitimate big competitor. With the same positives as DuckDuckGo, it is extremely privacy focused, doesn't track anything you do, and it's also very good at general topic searching. However, it seems to struggle from most of these same flaws as DuckDuckGo also. Because of this, I really can't recommend someone switch to these search engines as a full-time alternative. If you're not doing any professional work or looking up anything specific, it's fine. But as soon as you have to do that, these search engines really fall apart. For the people who are fans of these, let me know if you've run into the same issues down in the comments. I really want to give these things a strong shot, and I've used them for 6 months to a year now, but it's just really hard when I find myself having to go back to Google every once in a while. The last piece of privacy software category I want to dip my toes into is going to be the operating system Linux. I've always been a fan of Linux, but have never committed to truly using it. However, recently I have fully switched over my laptop to Linux and am giving it a full go. I would say Linux gets there about 90% of the way from a Windows experience. The problem really is just small headaches that pop up all the time. A program you need might not be available, some software might be really annoying to install, you might have graphics driver problems. It's just a lot of small things that can go wrong. However, when it works well, and it's a free alternative, which is still incredible to me. I think the people that would have the hardest time switching over are creative professionals, just because if you're missing certain apps that you use in your regular workflow, or if you have one of those small issues I was talking about, can really mess with your creative flow and really mess up everything you're doing. However, I do have to give Linux even credit here. I got Unity running and was developing games on the Linux platform, which to me is incredible that you can do that nowadays. If you want to give Linux a shot, I can recommend a few of the distros like Pop! OS, Ubuntu, or Mint. They're really beginner friendly and it'll feel a lot like your Windows experience, just with some different tweaks. Linux is an impressive free alternative. However, it has its problems, but I still recommend it wholeheartedly to anyone that wants to give it a shot. Let me know what you guys thought of this video. I know it's something a little different than what I do most of the time. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Talk to you in the next one.